Yeah, like,
I hope you can all see us and hear us clearly. Just going to do one round of tech check and see whether our audio and video are indeed clear. I have an open screen. I have a screen here which shows the YouTube channel. Hopefully things are fine. I can see it now. So I'm just going to wait for a comment which says, hey, we are fine. Audio and video are both fine. Then we'll start off the session. Wait for maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I can see Jatin now. Hi. Good to see you. So I think Abhishek is on our YouTube controls. So he's managing what view we have, whether it's a gallery view or single person view or whatever not. I can, AV is perfect. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Beautiful, folks. It's first of all, best wishes to all of you. Jumping in here and trying to prepare for an exam with super uncertain outcomes, then deserve all the best wishes you can lay your hands on. So best wishes for that. I'm a big fan of taking whatever artificial marker comes our way to start on some journey for me. So therefore now it's March 31st, end of the financial year, new financial year to look forward to. And then therefore we take that seriously and start on a new journey. Will be New Year, new financial year, Diwali, Christmas, doesn't matter. Tamil New Year, Ugadi, April 14th, anything.
April Fools.
April Fool's Day, yeah. So anything new, it's a good time to start something. Basically, I have a Wanker action bias. I'm doing something. If I'm acting on it, I'm happy. Even if it's something that stresses me, but if I'm acting on something, then I'm generally happy. And so we're going to do a broad preparation plan, but I think we're going to run through a preparation plan for VARC, Quant, LRDI, and then a little bit on mocks, and then come back for Q&A. We'll rush through the VARC, Quant, LRDI parts, not rush through, but go through them reasonably quickly. Cover mocks and then take some questions, or take questions and then come back to mocks. Break it up. I don't want it to be one session where we are giving Gyan and you're all listening. It doesn't work. We'll make sure it is interactive. So maybe we'll take about 15, 20 minutes to run through preparation strategies by section. I have a couple of themes that I want to focus on. Jatin has a thing on verbal. So I'm going to hand over to Jatin, do his bit on verbal ability, and then pick up back again on LRDI and Quant. I want to focus on slightly different themes with the big priority being sequence of learning and revision, what I want to focus on. So I'm handing over to Jatin. Over to you, Jatin.
All right, thank you. Hey, folks. So for those of you who don't know me, very quickly, my name is Jatin. I'm the head of verbal ability and reading comprehension and student care at 2M. Okay, I've been with 2M since like 2021. I can get this, of course, that's my background as well, but I won't get into that. You could probably watch one of my older videos or go to our website, you'll see an introduction. But yeah, that's a very quick introduction. I will get started with VARC, as Rajesh said. I have a few slides that I have prepared for you, which will focus on how you can start preparing for VARC in April. Okay, so of course it is directed at people who are just starting their preparation now. But even if you've been preparing for a while, I feel like some of the information will still help. All right. So I'll present that. Now, one thing that I always tell my students in class, right? Please ask questions, right? Of course, relevant questions, but please make this interactive. Otherwise, I love talking, right? I love talking right from childhood. I've been like that. I love the sound of my own voice. I can happily talk for 2 hours, no problem. Right? But I don't think that's a good thing for you. Right? So ask questions so that make it interactive. You'll end up learning a lot that way. Okay. So I have the YouTube chat open on my mobile phone. So I'll keep checking that as well. Okay. But let me just quickly go to
share screen and then yellow.
Yes. I think I've already shared it. So it should be there. All right. I think, yeah, you should be able to see it now. Okay, very quickly. Of course, I'm going to take a quick promotional break and do a quick ad for 2M. I have to do that, right? But very quickly, on a serious note, we have an excellent discount offer running, up to 30% discount on our CAT 25 and 26 courses right now, and this is valid till 31st March, right? So if you're considering joining a course, if you're considering 2M, it's a great time. to join that, so that we can get it up to 30% discount, which is a massive discount. We usually don't offer such high value discounts. So definitely, if you're considering 2M, I would suggest make the best use of it. You can call this number or email us, and our academic counselors will be more than happy to talk to you. Okay. All right. So that was a quick sort of promotional break. I've forgotten that there was a term for it, but anyway, we'll move on. Let's talk about VRC. So first of all, what's the secret to VRC, right? Is there a secret to VRC? So the right away, I'll tell you that there is absolutely no secret that I'm going to unlock in this presentation. Not because I don't know the secret. It's because there is no secret to cracking VRC. It's as simple as that, right? There is no shortcut, no hack. Okay, and it's not just for VRC, it applies to CAT as well. I tell everyone this, when we're making a presentation or to my students, if there's anyone out there who's claiming to give you a hack or a secret to crack any section in CAT, run as fast as possible in the opposite direction. Okay, so there's absolutely no secret, no spell. If you're a Harry Potter fan, no shortcut. The only thing that will work for you is reading. Okay, and this is very obvious. I'm sure most of you know this by now. VRC, each section is testing a core skill, right? So what is VRC testing? VRC is testing your English reading and comprehension skills. If you want to become a great swimmer, you have to jump in the pool and start swimming. If you want to do well in VRC, you have to start reading. It's as simple as that. Okay. Of course, not only reading. Of course, you have to. There are nuances to it, but reading is the cornerstone of succeeding in VRC, right? So just keep that in mind. This is just a meme for you. This is the state I wish that all of you get to at some point in time, where you're so immersed in reading, so immersed in whatever you're reading, that you forget where you are and kind of like totally lose track of time, right? So definitely fall in love with reading. It's extremely important. Okay, now let's talk about the VRC strategy. So there is a two-pronged prep strategy. Of course, have a look at the meme. This is basically telling you what you should not do for VRC. Okay, it's just a fun meme, but yeah, have a look at it. There's a two-pronged prep strategy for VRC. First, part A is leisure reading, and part B is what I call CAT reading. Okay, so I'll quickly explain these two things to you, and both are equally important. So don't be like Drake. This is Drake, right? I hope it's Drake. Yeah, don't be like Drake. Okay, that's like what you should not do. You have to do both part A and part B to succeed in VRC. There is no choosing here. Okay, so let's talk about leisure reading first. Leisure reading is all about reading online magazines, newspaper, books. So this is basically where you're pursuing your reading as a hobby. It's a recreational activity. Okay, it's very, very stress-free. You pursue leisure reading as you would pursue any hobby, right? Without any stress and for the joy of it. So read online magazines, newspaper, books. I'll talk about what you can read later as well. It's relaxed reading without any pressure. And the goal is to have fun with reading. And why are we doing this? Because so that you can build a consistent reading habit. See, if you're always actively and aggressively reading with a lot of pressure and stress, how will you fall in love with that activity? Okay, so leisure reading is extremely important because it helps you fall in love with reading so that reading becomes a consistent habit, and then your comprehension and speed keeps on improving this, and then pay a price later. Okay, so that's one. Part B, which is CAT reading, which all of you will do, is solving VRC questions, right? This is active and aggressive. So while leisure reading is passive, stress-free, CAT reading is very active and aggressive. So what I mean by that is when you're solving a CAT passage, you can't lie on your bed and solve the passage on your phone. It's not going to work, right? You'll have to sit at the table. You'll have to probably even look at your posture and be very, very thoroughly immersed in what you're reading so that you can solve those questions with high accuracy. And the goal here is very clear, is to learn the best-in-class VRC question strategies and practice a ton of questions, right? So both parts have very different goals, but both part A plus part B will take you to that 99.5 percentile in VRC. All right? Okay. By the way, I'm gonna keep checking the chat. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, don't leave them till the end. You can fire away your VRC questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. Let's continue. Now, leisure reading, very quickly, how should you approach it? So the question that you'll have in your mind is, how much should I read? Okay, so I have a clear plan for you. The whole idea is if you are not habituated to reading, don't start with 1 hour per day. Okay, start small. The whole idea is consistency, right? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So approach it like that. Start with 15 minutes a day of leisure reading. I think anybody can spend 15 minutes, right? I mean, you can't tell me that you're that busy that you can't reserve 15 minutes a day for reading. Everybody can spend 15 minutes, right? I mean, if you're that busy, take some time away from your reels, maybe 3 reels, and then you can read, right? But 15 minutes a day is very achievable. Then take it up to 20 minutes, then take it up to 30, 45, and 60, and do this in 2-week intervals. Okay, so start slow and gradually build it up. The idea is that in 2 months, if you're able to come to a point where you're comfortably reading 60 minutes a day of leisure reading, that will really help you with VRC. And this 60 minutes doesn't have to be in one sitting. It can be broken down into 2 sittings. Okay, right. So of course, this does not include solving VRC questions. This is purely leisure reading. The objective, remember, is to enjoy reading. So keep that in mind. Okay, so follow this plan. Try to do this in 2-week intervals. Of course, if you're already at 20, bump it up to 30 after 2 weeks. But if you're starting at now, start with 15 minutes a day. Okay, all right. Great. There are some questions, general questions, which we'll answer later. Now, what should you read? Some of my favorite sources, I'm just going to list them out for you. Bharat's reading list is an excellent 2IM CAT initiative, 2IM initiative that we have. We've been running this since 2014. So Bharat's reading list is where we curate very high quality articles for you, 1 article per day from Monday to Friday. Okay, and we post it on social media, we send it on the student groups. These are very high quality articles that you can read, which will help you build reading skills for VRs. So leverage that. The link will be shared with you in chat. Okay, newspapers, Hindu, Indian Express, even TOI. I know Rajesh is not a fan. TOI is also good. The language is good, so you can go for that as well. Online publications or magazines, these are very good. These are very good. I'll tell you why, because CAT borrows a lot of passages from these sources. Okay, and these are international online publications or magazines, excellent language, very well written, even from an engagement perspective. Okay, so check out Guardian, which is UK-based, Smithsonian, mostly anthropology and probably life sciences. The Walrus.ca, ALDaily.com, artsandloveletters.daily.com. These are all free. And then you have Economist, NY Times, Scientific American, and so on and so forth, which are paid versions. You'll get some free articles, but eventually you'll have to pay. Okay, don't pay upfront. There is lots of free content available. But for instance, Economist is great. I think about 2 to 3 passages last year or the year before that in CAT were from Economist. Okay, so very, very good sources. Okay. Blogs, you can Shashi Tharoor, of course. There's swanomics.org, there's ramachandraguha.in. Keep the politics out of this. This is purely from a language perspective. Non-fiction books, I've listed some of my favorite books there. Aeon is amazing. A lot of CAT passages come from Aeon, but Aeon, remember, is complex, quite complex. So don't start with Aeon. Okay, don't start with Aeon. Start with something that you're comfortable. Eventually come down to Aeon. Fiction books, there are some examples as well. So lots of sources for you. The most important thing is diversity of material. People, remember this, don't get stuck in one source. See, RCs come from different genres in CAT. The idea is to get familiar with different genres. So read diverse material. One day if you're reading a newspaper, second day pick up Bharat's reading. Third day go to an online publication. Fourth day pick up a fiction book. Diversity is very important. And start in your comfort zone and gradually step out. Okay, don't start with Aeon. Start with something that you like. So if you're just starting out, pick up whatever you like, even Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Bhagat is also fine. 5 point someone, you want to start with that and eventually step out of your comfort zone. But increase the complexity gradually. In 2-week intervals, you can increase the time and complexity. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Let's move on. Okay, so that's for leisure reading, right? I'm also doing a quick time check to see that I don't take up too much time. Once I start talking about VRC, there's no end to it. So quickly, we'll move on to CAT reading. Now, this is where you're looking at CAT reading is nothing but solving VRC questions, right? So anytime you're solving a VRC question, I'm calling that CAT reading. So basically your practice, right? Now, what should you cover in CAT reading? Definitely focus on VRC basics. This is extremely important. I cannot stress on this enough. People, there are effective reading strategies that you need to learn. There is a certain way of approaching reading for CAT. Please learn that. Okay, in the course that we conducted to me and all the other VRC faculties were very, very focused on that. We have like several sessions that we do purely on effective reading strategies. So we teach about 8 effective reading strategies that will help you approach CAT reading in the right way. Okay, so definitely learn that. Master VRC strategies. Each question type has a different strategy. You'll have to learn those strategies as part of your preparation. Practice a lot, that goes without saying, whether it's your RCs or verbal ability. And of course, take mocks. Okay, so all of these are important components. I'll go into details of this a little bit. Of course, in the interest of time, I can't sort of go through it in too much detail, but I'll quickly talk a little bit about it, also give you sources where you can learn this. Okay, all right. Now, where can you learn effective reading strategies? So of course, you can join 2IIM and we can teach you that, but jokes apart. There are a couple of videos where I've live sessions that I've done in the past where I've spoken about them. The links will be shared with you. You can go through those sessions and there I talk about effective reading strategies. So definitely check out these videos. The links will be shared with you soon. Also, there is an excellent book that I can recommend, which is Norman Lewis, How to Read Better and Faster. Okay, Norman Lewis is amazing. Like whether it's vocabulary or reading, this is an amazing book which tells you how to read and how to increase comprehension and speed in the right way. Okay, so it's a great book. Not everyone needs it. If your comprehension and speed is at a reasonable level, you don't need to invest time in this. But if you think you're struggling with that, I would recommend this book. And April is a good time to start. You still have time. You won't be able to do this in July, August. Okay, and it will take about 1.5 to 2 months to finish this book. It's quite time consuming with practice sessions and stuff, but it's amazing. It will really, really help you boost your comprehension and speed. Okay, and get a physical copy, not a digital copy, because it's an exercise book. Okay, we'll share the link with you. Right, now on mastering VRC strategies, right? Let's talk about that. So again, of course, in our course, we covered that in detail, but if you want to check out videos, what I do is every year, I do these VRC Blitzkrieg sessions where I discuss fast year question papers in live sessions. So check out this. This was the first YouTube live that I did. So you can check that out. There are a couple of links here. These videos, I discuss strategies as well to approach RC questions and verbal ability. So check that out. It will give you a glimpse of what strategies you need to learn. And I will be doing Blitzkrieg for CAT 24 as well, probably starting in a month or so. So do attend. Okay. Now, in terms of practice, how much should you practice? This is what I would recommend. You are in April, do about 5 to 6 RCs a week and 10 to 12 verbal ability questions a week. Now, one thing that I will tell you here, please don't make the mistake of ignoring verbal ability. Okay, I see a lot of students, oh, I'll focus on RCs because 2/3 of my exam and I'll leave BA. Horrible strategy, because BA is a very profitable section. Okay, so please focus on both. You can do about 5 to 6 RCs a week and 10 to 12 BA questions a week. If you want a target, this is what you can follow. May you amp it up to 7 to 8 and 12 BA questions. From June onwards, do about 10 to 12 RCs a week and 50 to 20 BA questions. Okay, of course, this is sort of a broad target for you. You can customize a little bit based on your requirements, but this is what I would recommend. Okay, all right, perfect. Let's move on. Mocks. All right, mocks, I'll talk about it later. So this is about VRC. I'll take a couple of questions from chat. Hand it over to Rajesh, who'll talk about Quant and DILR, and then I'll come back. Okay, see your questions now. Okay. Let's see. I like Times of India from school days. Somewhere Times of India is good. It's good. Okay, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. What do you mean even Chetan Bhagat? Okay, there's a fight around Chetan Bhagat, which is hilarious. After reading something, I'm not able to retain the material. How to go about it? Okay, Harini, that's a good question. That's a good question. See, as far as RCs is concerned, Harini, if you're facing this problem in RCs, right, that oh, I read the first paragraph, I understand it, but by the time I come to the second paragraph, I've forgotten what's there in the first paragraph. So in RCs, what I strongly recommend is, after you've read one paragraph, extract the main point of the paragraph in your head. Okay, do that for each paragraph. So you read para 1, extract the main point of that paragraph in your head, make a mental note or take a written note. If the mental note doesn't work for you, don't hesitate in writing it down. Now, I'm sure the first question will pop up is it takes too much time. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that right now. Take that written note if it helps. Do that for every paragraph. So that way it will help you to maintain the flow of the RC. And at the end of the RC, extract the main idea holistically, then move for the questions. So this will help you retain information in an RC. In leisure reading also, you don't have to do that for every paragraph, but every 3 to 4 paragraphs, you can pause, consolidate the main points in your head, and then cut. So that consolidation will help you maintain the connect with the author and the article. Okay, try that, Harani, and then let me know in comments. You can reply, and I'm happy to get back to you. Also, the effective reading strategies that I spoke about will also help you a lot in this situation. So do learn them as well. Okay, fantastic, great, awesome. Thank you, folks. I'm going to be here. I'll hand it over to Rajesh now, and then I'll come back for mocks. You're on mute, Rajesh.
Hi, Jatin. Thanks a ton. I want to see if I can share my screen. And then I'm hoping we can all see my screen. It's indeed the relevant screen too. So, it should come online. Yeah, Abhishek has told me very clearly that I should take a model where we write down stuff. We need to figure out different ways of engaging with them, and we cannot be standing on a pedestal and giving yarn. I'm going to focus on two things in sequence of learning, especially for Quant. And so we've done this a million times. I've said this over and over again, but I'm a gigantic fan of this priority-based thing. You start with arithmetic. What do we include in arithmetic? We do percentages, profit and loss. We do ratios, proportions, mixtures, allegations, speed, time, distance, races, pipes and cisterns, work and time, a little bit of exponential logarithm, little bit of progressions, some basic equation solving, simple interest, compound interest, all of these topics, what would be called as basic aptitude in our regular life, and what would have been covered in classes 6 to 10 in your school. There are a million question types, classic template to start from. This covers about 50% of the mark and takes you to about 90th percent. 50% of the questions and 90th percentile, maybe 40 to 50, not always, and takes you to 90th percentile. After this, I would pick either algebra or geometry. If you're comfortable with letters, variables, go for algebra. Otherwise, go for geometry. When I say geometry, I mean geometry, trigonometry, mensuration, and quadratic geometry. When I say algebra, I'm talking about linear and quadratic equations. I'm talking about a little bit of logarithms and progressions. I know I put in arithmetic, they'll come here as well. Inequalities, functions, polynomials. The more mathematical topics, a bunch of variable-based solving. In geometry, we talk about geometry, trigonometry, mensuration, coordinate geometry. Both have almost equal weightage. One year it is algebra, 1 year it is geometry. Weightage-wise, geometry probably shades it. You're looking at 25% of the questions, give or take, 20% of the questions. Once you've done this, after that, go to geometry/algebra, the other one. Then go to what is number theory plus modern math. Is the remaining, so algebra and geometry account for 40-45%, arithmetic accounts for 40 to 50%. So the 10-15% remaining typically come from the set theory, permutation, probability, all of that. Interesting topics, fun topics. This comes after this. This chunk, I put it here as miscellaneous. You'll miss something, you'll revisit that comes here. And so this has to be the sequence, because without getting comfortable with percentages and ratios, you can't really touch even logical reasoning, data interpretation. It becomes the tougher questions in logarithm and progression where variables are involved. You can't do that without doing basic arithmetic. Sometimes questions in number theory and geometry can be super juicy. There are not too many of them. Arithmetic is a cornerstone. Take that, put it in the bag, consolidate, be happy, comfortable with reaching out to 90th percentile, and then say, I'll go to the rest of it. And so this is the sequence in which we do. I'm a big fan of this. So do arithmetic, then algebra or geometry, then geometry or algebra, finally number theory plus modern math, then miscellaneous. I'm a big fan of this sequence. Would richly, highly recommend learning in this pattern. For LRDI, I would practice simple DI first and then simple LR. What do I mean by that? When I say simple DI, talk about charts, graphs, pie chart, line graphs, simple word statements, kind of questions that do not really appear in CAT. I'll do that to set the ball rolling. Then I'll do simple LR, which is basically coding, decoding, arrangement, puzzle, circular arrangement, sequencing, all of that. Coding, decoding type of questions will never appear in CAT, but I would do this. They don't appear in CAT, but I would do a few questions just to get the hang of this series and sequences, just to get the idea of, hey, what is logical reasoning about? Do these two. After this, I will take stock with previous year CAT questions, because LRDA is a separate animal in two chunks. 2017 to 20 is one chunk. 2021 to 24 is another chunk. The 17 to 20 part is easier. The 21 to 24 part is tougher. Sometimes you want to hold on to some LRDI, some actual CAT papers to do them as mocks. So they're going to take time. You want to save them up for later. Therefore, you may not attack it straight away. And I'm not saying do tons of this, but you should look to do maybe 10 to 20 sets puzzles for one thing and one thing only to get a very clear idea of what is this CAT level. What is CAT level? And so sometimes LRDI you learn and you're all over the place. A bunch of the puzzles are super difficult. Sorry, I seem to have dropped the pen. Bunch of the puzzles are super difficult. Bunch of them are really easy. When you're learning material. So you don't have a sense of what is the level of difficulty in CAT. What is the style of questions in CAT? What are the mixed bag variants in CAT? And so because you don't have it, you're all over the place. You don't have a sense of, okay, you can't look at a puzzle and go, hey, this is too simple or this is too difficult. That sense has to be built very early on. So I would recommend that. After which you do the name of the game, the really meaty part of this variety plus detailed solution. Sometimes I hate solutions that come as, look, hey, if you look at all the data, you'll get 6 tables, of which 3 get eliminated. The other 3 are possible. Now let's answer questions. Very unintuitive. It's not a solution as much as just an answer. We want to understand thought processes, ideas. You want to see the most intuitive method in which someone would have approached it, gotten it wrong, and then come back. So your solution, the LRDI sets need to have variety. The solutions need to be intuitive. I hate solutions which say, after we eliminate the 4 possibilities, this table emerges. Emerges from where? Not Jesus Christ. So I don't want to know the answer key. I want to know how the natural intuitive process goes. This is the meat of the preparation part. This is the big chunk of it. In order to do this reasonably, sensibly, is why we have done step 1, step 2, and step 3. After this, there are 2 parts. One is mocks. The second is previous year papers. To consolidate, finish it off, get a clear sense of what LRDI is about. Previous year papers alone have more than 100 LRDI sets. Should not miss out on a single one of them. And this is your sequence of preparation. Super important. Yeah. Next thing I'm going to look at is to have an idea about revision. Very important. Lots of time to learn a topic, and then you think you've got the hang of it. You think you put it in the bag, then you come back to it after 3 months. Absolutely, you have no clue about it. Your brain has it has no memory of ever having studied it, ever having learned it. You look at ratios, you do a bunch of questions, you're very happy. You feel like, look, ratio, I got this, ye to ho jayega. And then 3 months later, you come back and you have no idea of how to do a slightly, mildly tricky question in ratios. You sab bhul chuke hain. Everything has gone out of our head. Right? It is very natural. It happens to everyone and it's utterly inevitable, which is why your revision cannot be after all topics. You have to learn what is called as a spiraling model. Learn content, add new content, add new content, and then revise everything, and then go towards mastery for everything. This can happen over several layers. And I can tell you that if when you're adding new content, the speed is super low, very slow. When you're closer to mastery, the speed flies, super quick. You have to hang in there. And so when you do a topic for the second time after being ruthlessly exposed, you feel like, look, why did I study at all if I don't know anything about this? But believe me, that's a speed axis, the learning time axis. So suppose it took you this much time. Try to draw a graph with this pen. Suppose it took you this much time to do ratios for the first time. When you come back after 2 months, you feel like, look, I don't understand anything. The time taken to do ratios a second time will definitely be much shorter. Third time, it will crash. And by the time you go beyond the third time, it just peters. This is not just in this case. Those of you are starting on your preparation, it seems depressing. You feel like you'll never finish the schedule. Right? But if you do percentages, and it takes you this much time, and then you do ratios, and then it takes you this much time, then you know that geometry is a much bigger, tougher topic. But as you keep moving further and further, as you learn more and more, you will realize that the vast geometry that it is will get it done the same time that it took you to finish a seemingly trivial percentages, because your brain is now very receptive. So every time you learn something in one topic, you become more receptive. You get geared to learning more. That happens. Once geometry is there, then trigonometry crashes. Permutation probability crashes. Mensuration crashes. So by the time you go along this axis, you'll be gobbling topics up. So don't estimate your overall time taken on the basis of how much it takes to do your first lesson. Do not underestimate revision. You have to give your system the time to consolidate. You have to give your time system to revise and achieve mastery. Super important. But when you're sometimes it's very overwhelming. There are 26 chapters in Quant. To do percentages, I want to do percentages very thoroughly. It took me 3 weeks just to finish one topic. 26 into 3 weeks, so I need 1.5 years just to finish Quant. उसके बाद मैं revise कब करूँगा? When will I write mocks? What happened to LRDI and VARC? And then this exam is not for me. It just becomes one rapid straight line. Understand, hang in there. Your second time that you revise to do ratio will be much smaller. Fourth time will be practically free. If you do 5 topics, the 6th topic will get done in 1/3 the time that it took for your first topic. You have to have that persistence and let it kind of play out. Start early. Very interesting quote shared widely by traders, racers, and all of that. It's an absolute bakwas quote. Don't live on the edge. There's no glory to saying, I will live on the edge and be intense and do everything in the last minute and all that. अगर inevitably वैसा हो जाता है तो ठीक है. But don't glory in pushing things to the last minute. World doesn't think about your CAT score and say, CAT score, this person scored 97, but it's actually very creditable because she actually started preparing very seriously from August 1 only. Other guy got 98.5, but he started in February itself. That's not such a big deal. Nobody is going to do that entire line of thought is absurd, just in your head. When you start, how much time you put, how much you've gritted through and struggled through around irrelevant metrics for the world. And so if it takes you 6 months to get mastery, spend those 6. You have to spend 100 hours reading to get comfortable, spend those 100 hours. And if it takes 100 hours for you, and it takes Jatin only 50 hours, then Jatin is not your benchmark. It takes 100 hours for you, you should spend those 100 hours. Obviously, the guys who are comfortable with this, they do this quicker, sooner. Those are not your benchmarks. You should do it till you achieve mastery, not somebody else's benchmark. I'm pretty much done. I just had a few quotes from Mark Twain. This exam is going to cause some amount of stress, it is a stressful journey, but CAT Remember, it's not testing your IQ, they're testing your resilience, your temperamental strength, your ability to grit through the bad phases. And so accept that, embrace that. Don't worry too much about outcomes all the time. You're giving yourself a chance, putting fight to say, look, I'll give myself a chance. If you're continuously overthinking and evaluating options and all that, then you're spending too much time in kind of things that drain you. Don't do that. If I can tell you, Jatin can tell you, all of us can tell you, if you prepare well, you'll be noticeably, perceptibly, immeasurably be better off for it. You read for 2.5 hours this year, you finish 10 novels, you will become articulate. You'll understand the world better. Massive payoff. If you do tons of quant, you'll become numerate. Stuff will make sense to you. Somebody says, oh, that company has a $5 billion valuation. Your mind can grab it. And you have an intuition towards what a billion means. And that is super useful. So don't underestimate the trade-off in preparation. Don't go off on a giant rabbit hole in social media every now and then. Millions and millions of people who are keyboard warriors. I have participated in keyboard wars. I'm not any the wiser for it. I'm not giving you this gyan from a point of look, I've cracked this, you should not do these things. I make those mistakes every day. I wish I didn't, but I do. For the love of God, if you're intensely preparing for an exam, you need to step away from it, or you need to regulate yourself. And back yourself with confidence. Get yourself the belief and say, look, I'm going in. Ye ho jayega. Ye ho jayega. I'm not really sure how, but ye ho jayega. And then, like the famous story in 3 Idiots, all is well. You say all is well and run in and jump in. I'm pretty much done. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and then come back and tackle Q&A. Hopefully, I'm in Abhishek's good books. He gave me very clear instructions.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get into Abhishek's good books, Harish.
Yeah.
You have to hustle for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Several people have said 100%. I don't know what the 100% was for. Something good that we mentioned, perhaps. Very happy with it.
Yeah. Okay, so people, what I'll do quickly is, and of course, keep putting your questions in chat, and we'll answer that. We rolled out a form earlier, and there were a number of questions on mocks, right? And obviously, mocks are increasingly going to get important starting April. So I'll take like 5 minutes to talk about mocks, which will hopefully cover all the questions that we got about mocks as well. Okay. So let me just quickly go there. Right. Okay. I hope you can see my presentation. So let's talk about mocks. And so the first question, right, that I've seen multiple times in the form that we rolled out. It's a very common question. When do I start attempting mocks? Okay. So I have a few questions for you, right? Abhishek will run a poll, and then you can answer in the poll on YouTube. We'll do these polls very quickly, like in 30 seconds. Okay. So the first question that I have for you is, I need to finish at least 70% of the CAT curriculum to start attempting mocks. True or false? We'll quickly give you the poll. You can attempt it in the poll, right? Whether you think the statement is true or false. All right. That poll should be coming up very soon.
I'm waiting. Abhishek, do your magic.
Abhishek, pressure, come on. This poll should have
been
launched.
Statement correct, I can see. I need to finish, please. I shouldn't give my answer, but I'm
you should not. You should not. Yeah. Abhishek, the poll should have been launched yesterday. What are you doing? I'm kidding. I'm just
kidding. Okay,
okay, great.
I mean, there's no reason to not blame Abhishek, but still.
I keep pulling Abhishek's leg all the time. Okay, so yes, vote quickly. And then I'm not able to see it for some reason. But yeah, okay. He'll end the poll in some time. Now,
it's on the chat at the top right. It keeps moving from top right to bottom right.
Yeah, it's not showing up for some reason for me.
Okay, but it's on. It's on. It's got plenty of votes. You can go to the next part.
Okay, absolutely false. Okay, there is nothing like finishing 70% of the CAT curriculum before you start to attempt mocks. The answer to that is false. I'll give you more more gyan about this, but let's go to the second question. I need to finish at least 50% of the CAT curriculum to start attempting mocks. Okay, there'll be a poll for that as well. You can attempt it, or I'll quickly, just in the interest of time, the answer to that is also false. Okay, there is no reason, there is no logic in saying that you have to finish half of your curriculum before attempting mocks. And by the way, the poll for the first answer, which was 70%, 35% of you said yes, and 64% said no. The answer to first is no. The answer to second is also no. Okay, let's go to the final one. I need to finish at least 20% of the curriculum to start attempting mocks. What do you think is the answer to this? The answer to this is also no or false. Okay, now I know this will sound very counterintuitive to a lot of you, but please bear with me. Just hear me out for 1 minute as to why this is all false. There is nothing like this. There is no logic like this. Now I'll tell you where this is coming from. This is coming from the strategy that you adopted in your 10th, 12th, and probably in your undergraduate studies as well. Where if you were attempting mocks or past year papers, you almost near about finished your curriculum, you did a revision, and then you started doing that. It doesn't work like that in CAT. Okay? Mocks are unarguably the most important part of your strategy. And the earlier you start, the better it is. It will take you about 10 to 15 mocks just to get used to attempting mocks. Okay, so if you start in July, August, you won't have that time. And by the time you reach CAT, you would have just about gotten used to mocks. The whole idea is to start as soon as possible, get used to the mocks, and then get comfortable, get super comfortable, and then attempt the CAT exam, which turns out to be then your best mock ever. But for that, you have to start early. And as far as the curriculum part is concerned, this is a myth, complete biggest myth. So for instance, even in Quant, right? Quant has a very large curriculum. So people think that, oh, I'll finish like 90% of my curriculum and then attempt a mock. You probably won't even finish 80, 90% of your curriculum before CAT. You don't need to finish that. And Rajesh can talk more about Quant. Now, when it comes to DLR and VRC, there is no structured curriculum. Today, if you give a mock, VRC is about reading. DLR is about your analytical skills. You can still, at zero preparation, also get a few questions right. Okay? It will take you a lot of time to get used to mocks. So start right away. And this will bring me to the schedule. Okay, so hopefully that myth is busted now. Don't worry about that. In terms of your schedule, in April, aim to give at least 1 to 2 mocks. Okay, it's a very realistic target that I'm giving you. You can probably give a mock in 3rd or 4th week of April. At least give 1 mock. If possible, give 2 mocks. Okay, May give about 2 to 3 mocks. That means we're talking about 1 mock every 2 weeks. And from June onwards, start attempting 1 mock a week. Okay, later you can do in September, October, you can do 2 mocks a week as well, but it's too early to talk about that. But this is the schedule that you can start following. Start giving your mocks. Doesn't matter if you're starting from 0. Even in the last week of April, if you're at 0 preparation, give that. Okay. Now, one thing that I want to talk about is 2M CAT diagnostic test. This is for folks, especially for folks who are just starting the preparation in April. Okay. This is a mini CAT exam. It's a 1-hour exam, but the questions are at the CAT level. They've been crafted by senior faculties. The structure is exactly the same. You can actually start with the 2M CAT diagnostic test. It will give you your score percentile, and it will really help you plan your preparation. Okay, so the link will be there in the chat. Definitely attempt. If you want to start with mocks, right, take the CAT diagnostic test and then go to a full-fledged. Okay, all right. So the link will be shared with you. Definitely attempt that. Now, some important points to remember about mocks, okay? And the extremely important, very, very common mistakes that students make every year. Quality over quantity, okay? Of course, there are certain number of mocks that you'll have to have 10, 12 to get comfortable and more, but don't chase quantity here. Don't come to a point where you're attempting a mock every day or towards the, I've seen students in the run up to CAT and the last leg of CAT, they become obsessed with it and start attempting even like 2 mocks in a day. Does not make any sense. So always focus on quality over quantity. Mock analysis is very, very important. At some point in time, we'll do a session on mock analysis and talk about that in detail. But remember, this is probably even more important than attempting the mock. Okay, and it has to be a very thorough analysis. So we always say this, if it's a 2-hour mock, right, your analysis should at least take 4 hours. because analysis has to be very thorough. Each and every question has to be analyzed. All the attempted questions have to be attempted. So mock analysis is very important, and that's the non-glamorous bit of mocks, right? Giving a mock, getting a good score is very exciting. Analysis is not that exciting, but that's where the improvement lies. So don't ignore analysis. Don't obsess over mock scores. Okay, use them as directional guidance. Mock scores, one thing I will tell you right away. Mock scores, your mock scores are going to fluctuate. And sometimes there are going to be wild fluctuations in these mock scores, and it will trouble you. But believe me, this happens to pretty much every student every year. Mocks are designed like that. Okay, so your mock scores will fluctuate, but don't obsess over these scores. Use them as directional guidance. But just because you didn't do well in one or two mocks doesn't matter. Focus on the average, focus on the trend. Don't obsess over it. The idea is to learn from them and get used to the structure. Attempt past year papers as full-fledged mocks. I think Rajesh spoke about it, touched on this earlier. As far as your past year papers of 2024, 2023, 22, and 21, attempt them as full-fledged mocks. Now, what I mean by this, don't practice these questions as individual questions, especially 24 and 23. The 9 papers, right? Don't touch them right now. Use them as mocks in September, October. That will give you a good idea of where you are in terms of a CAT preparation. These will be your best mocks. Whenever you're attempting them, attempt them as full-fledged mocks, not as practice questions. I would say do that like till 21, but at least 24 and 23, please attempt them as full-fledged mocks. Okay? And the last piece of suggestion that I can give you is attempt mocks of at least 2 providers. The reason is it's very important for you to expose yourself to different question setters. Each question setter is a style. I have a style, Rajesh has a style. So when you go to at least 2 providers, right? One of which should be 2IIM, obviously. I'm kidding. You should check out our product as well. I'll be very proud about it. But at least 2 providers, whether you're a 2IIM student outside, at least 2 providers so that you can get used to different question setter styles. Okay. Awesome. So that's on mocks. Again, the session is not over. We'll answer questions. But again, quickly, folks. So we have a fantastic offer running. Up to 30% discount on our CAT 25 and 26 courses. This offer is valid till 31st March. So if you're considering joining a course, if you're considering joining 2IIM, this is a great opportunity to do that. We never dole out such massive discounts, right? So call us, email us, and our academic counselors will be more than happy to talk to you about it. Okay. Fantastic. I'll stop sharing and then we can start answering your questions. Okay, great. Right. I think Rajesh, you already answered Adarsh's question, right? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one question in chat. Adarsh has a question if you want to take that up, Rajesh.
Graduation, will gap year affect my admission top B schools, black eye? See, gap year doesn't really sit on the metric at all when they are looking at your CV from stage 1 to stage 2. So stage 1 to stage 2, after you've written CAT, they look at your class 10, class 12, undergraduation, work experience, CAT score. System cannot really figure out how much of a gap year you have or whether it is relevant. So they will question you on gap year in the interview. It is not an impediment to getting a seat on the table for the interview. So don't worry about that. So do well in CAT, you'll have a shot at sitting for the interview. Then you'll have to explain this. Sambhav Tiwari, when will 2IIM mock start? They'll start in about 3 weeks' time. Set them up around about Tamil New Year, the week after that, Ugadi, that April 14, 15, round about
that. You'll get details very soon. I think in a week's time, you'll get those details if you're a student, and we'll release that product outside as well. Okay.
Anirudh was discussing, I think Anirudh is talking about an important point. So how much it is overwhelming. The sheer vastness of the syllabus is overwhelming for preparation. Sometimes it feels like that. But this old saying, Chinese proverb, I think it's a journey of 1,000 miles, start with a single step. But don't let that intimidate you. Keep at it. I'm guaranteeing you the time it takes you to cover one chunk of syllabus in the first topic The same chunk of syllabus in the 8th or 10th topic, the time taken will be about 40% of that. And then if you go to the 15th or 18th topic, it will be 20% of what the first topic was. The time it takes you to finish one topic, you'll be finishing 5 topics up, 5x the content after 3-4 months if you've kept at it. So all your timelines for consuming content would fly, just completely, utterly disappear. Because if you will pick up pace, but you will have to grind through the first 50 hours, 100 hours. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not whether if you've done percentages, tabhi geometry 2 दिन में हो जाएगा, impossible. But you keep at it. If you do leisure reading, if you do 100 hours of leisure reading, your verbal will fly, So, but you have to keep at it. You have to sit and lay in wait to enjoy those gains. They will happen. You have to grade it through.
Right.
How many hours to study every day? If I'm sorry, Jatin, go for it.
Sorry, there's one question that came in the form. I'll just take that. The question says, every time there's always a sense of procrastination and we never get a feeling that it's now or never. What should we do? Also, I believe I can even climb Everest, but not read a full book. So how should non-readers start reading? Okay, that's that's an interesting statement. Okay, so listen, non-readers for non-readers to start reading, right? One, I think if you saw what I covered earlier, is to start in your comfort zone. See, if you're an absolute non-reader, start in your comfort zone. Pick up whatever catches your eye. Okay, if that can be a book, or if a book seems too sort of like a Herculean task for you, start reading articles, right, in a genre that you like, or start reading the newspaper. And start small. Start with 15 minutes a day. That's all I'm asking you to do, right? 15 minutes a day, and this can be anything, whatever you want to read. Of course, not comics or Twitter, that doesn't count. It has to be like long form. But it doesn't have to be a book, right? If books are daunting for you because, oh my God, this book is so huge, then read articles, right? Start with 15 minutes a day, do that for 2 weeks, and then slowly amp it up and slowly keep stepping out of your comfort zone as well. If you want to, as far as books is concerned, fiction is a very good way to start reading because it will hook you, whatever you like reading, right? I mean, a couple of books that I can suggest, right, which I think are very, very nice. Pick up any like suspense or whodunit murder mystery, right? For instance, Agatha Christie is great. There's a book called A Girl on the Train. There was also a movie. I found the book very gripping. It had a very good suspense. You can pick that up. You can go for Khaled Hosseini's Kite Runner. It's a beautiful book, very, very emotional, slice of life kind of a book. So there are lots of books out there. You can pick up Amish Tripaঠি's Trilogy. That's also fantastic. So pick what you like. Start with 15 minutes a day and slowly amp it up. As you gain momentum, right, this will get easier and easier. And the whole idea is approach reading with a positive mindset. So if you start with what you like, slowly start enjoying it. Okay, and then you'll get hooked. Okay, yeah. Back to you, Rajesh.
I'm just having a look at the question. Finished my graduate in 2024 just from Jordan. I'm a fresher and I'm unemployed, searching for a job with this gap. No, if you're looking for a job, that's one of the best reasons to not be working is saying, look, I'm looking for a job. Ultimately true, right? You can't work when somebody's not trusting you with a job. So don't think you're at a huge negative because you're looking for a job. So you sit in the interview hall and say, look, I've been looking for a job. I didn't get it. I tried a couple of internships. It didn't work out. The economy is bad. But now I've got a job after 6 months of search. It's not the best job out there, but I'm going to do a good job of it. That's fine. It's completely fine. Don't worry about it. Is Lord of the Rings good? Yes. Short answer, yes.
Beautiful, yeah. Even like if you're a non-reader, you can even start with Harry Potter. Amazing, yeah.
Vigneshwaran, being an offline student, should I have to attend them strictly if I can save time in online? That's a style choice, Vigneshwaran. To some of us, offline works magically. The presence of other people, presence of other students, the idea of setting aside a time, discussing with people, finishing off with a coffee or a juice at the end of it, the whole rhythms of being out there in the physical world, they're materially good for our mood. And Jatin is firmly in that camp. Right? For some others, look, I'm in my room. I don't have to meet people. What's not to like? Right? So if you're in that category where you're saying, look, I want to retain my anonymity and and just do my own things. I don't want to advertise to the world. I want to just keep a low profile. That works a lot. Then online works for you. If you get energy from interaction, from just being out there, then you should go for online. But it's completely a style thing, more a style thing than anything.
True, very true, very true. Okay, Anirudh, not a question, but you're saying that you've been reading a lot lately and your vocabulary is getting better. Fantastic. This is beautiful. And you're saying that the words that I use sometimes surprise me. See, this is the joy of reading, Anirudh. Right? This is exactly what I want people to discover. Right? The benefits of reading. And as Rajesh said, it's going to make you extremely articulate as well. So CAT preparation is very rewarding that way. Okay, fine. Of course, your dream is to get into like the top IIMs, but God forbid that doesn't work out. You will still come out of a much richer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Person. It's beautiful that the magic of CAT prep, right? It's fantastic. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Vanamali J. Raghavan, I think the question is, big fan of your tweets, how to get motivated after a bad and tiring day at work. We all have our routines, our rhythms. I think sport works magically for me. Watching sport works, playing sport works. For some people, it's music. For some people, it's a walk. Some people, it's a conversation with a friend. Figure that out. For some people, a lot of us think it's the hit from Instagram or Twitter. It is really good in the short run, but it's probably not the best thing over a medium term because you get sucked into it and the rabbit holes that you can go into. I'm not going to give a big speech on how social media is evil. I know that. And I'm speaking from a position of I'm right now trying desperately to reduce my doom scrolling time. It's not alarmingly high, but it is higher than where I would want it to be. And so, and if I'm doing something engaging, then I don't go towards social media. But to the slightest drop in engagement level, I just go and hide there. I hate myself for it later on. So stay away from that. But that apart, everything else, run, jog, play sport, speak to people, listen to music, whatever works for you.
Yeah. And one thing, I think I said that last time as well, but I don't know, it really works for me. The working professional struggle is real. Okay. I mean, I've been working for so long and I've tried to study along with work. It's not easy. It's not easy, right? So I don't want to undermine that struggle. It is difficult, but I can give you an actionable thing that works for me, right? See, if you've had a hard day at work, right? Your boss has shouted at you or whatever, like, or you have shouted at your team and your client has been on your case and you've had like a 10-hour day and then you come back and you're like, oh, I decided that I'll prepare for 2 hours and now I can't do it because I'm dog tired, right? It's okay. It's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. You had planned for 2 hours. You can't do it because the day turned out to be weird. But if you can't do 2 hours, do half an hour. You planned for 2 hours, just do half an hour. Just do 2 quant problems or 1 RC or half a DLR set or do some reading. Just do something rather than saying, I can't do 2 hours, so I'm not going to do anything. Just do half an hour. You never know, the moment you start, you might get that momentum and you'll probably end up doing 1 hour instead of half an hour, right? And then that action that you took, and Rajesh was referring to that, right? The action that you took, even if it's a minute action, that incrementally can keep building up. I got this from Atomic Habits as well, right? And that sort of keeps you going, and that guilt also reduces. So try that. It really works for me. Just 15 minutes. I'll do 15 minutes, and then that will set you on that path. You'll probably end up doing 1 hour, right? So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? Yeah.
Some days are psychologically crucial. You just turn up and say, look, I turned up today. Some days you do more.
Look, Rajesh, I wanted to read that comment from Manish Kumar.
Blink twice if you get.
Rajesh will blink on. Rajesh will blink on my.
Maybe
Hilarious. Manish, you're in trouble, okay? Thanks for saying this in front of my boss. Hilarious.
Lovely. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Brilliant, guys. I think it's good fun to just shoot the breeze. So many thanks for putting a giant smile on our faces.
Good, yeah.
I think we've covered the ground, Jatin. It was good to do this parallelly as well. I think sometimes it gets we take a breather and we come back with something. Lovely to speak to all of you. We're going to end sometime now. Best wishes to all of you. Jump in, commit to this journey, give it a full-fledged go. Don't sit wondering. Don't sit thinking, maybe you shouldn't be in August and said, "Oh, I wish I had started in April. I wish I had started in March." Don't do that. 100% CAT prep is useful. The journey is super fun, super relevant, super useful. So keep at it. There will be obstacles in this journey. Hold with it. How to be a CAT teacher? 99%.
Nice question.
99% is not required. A great many teachers are there who are extraordinarily good at teaching, but are not great exam takers. And so sometimes I find that in India, we judge teachers on the quality of how they can score. Not required. I know lots and lots, and the converse also true. I know lots of guys score really well, but they can't intuitively think about what the learning hurdle could be, and then they end up teaching for big stars, and not for the guys who don't get the first three steps. So all of us who like teaching, we love the idea of breaking an idea down. We continuously get feedback from our students, and we keep on figuring out how to teach some idea better all the time. And if you have like Jatin in the beginning, he mentioned like he likes the sound of his own voice. It was kind of in self-deprecation. But the point there is, I think he likes the idea of breaking a funda down and explaining to someone.
Yeah.
Sometimes the teachers think knowledge is power, not because they can hoard it and make money off it or do something with it, but because they love the idea of, oh, I saw this super question. New try and go have a go at this lovely question. They like the idea of sharing the journey they took, and the sharing that path they took. Oh, beautiful. Oh, that word I didn't even know the meaning for it. Now I do. Oh my God, where it comes from is very nice. So if you have that kick that you have, then you'll enjoy teaching, and then other things become less tricky. You can hang in there for longer.
Yeah, and Shivansh, if by chance if you're in Chennai, right, and if you want to teach, you can drop an email to careers@2am.com. Okay, and then you never know, right? We can even, I mean, if you fit the bill, then we can have a conversation. Yeah, but careers@2am.com, and mostly like you'll have to be in Chennai, because most of us are in Chennai, right? But yeah, definitely reach out. Or if you want if you want to shoot the breeze about teaching as a career, I'm more than happy to talk to you about that as well.
Super, guys. Lovely to have kind of caught up with all of you. Beautiful to have this chance and to spend this time. Best wishes to all of you. Enjoy what is left of your week. I know, big chunk. Enjoy the Sunday. Those of you into sport, watch some good sport. Run, play. We will catch up with you guys soon. I think Abhishek has one of these sessions planned every 5-6 weeks or so. Hopefully, we'll try a slightly different format, have some fun in a different variant. And thanks for putting a big, not just a smile, we're laughing out loud. Many thanks to Manish Kumar for. I'm going to use that sometime.
Manish is our student.
Evidently, a guy with good taste.
Clearly. Yeah.
Lovely, guys. Thank you.
Right. Okay, bye, folks.
Oh, there's a thing about a plan that we have uploaded that is super helpful. I think maybe give me a second. I think that there's a schedule for that. I think Abhishek has that schedule thing lined up. And I think that schedule is available for everyone. I think I'm going to figure out a way to share my screen. Give me a second. I think you guys can see my screen now. Go to online.2am.com/schedule. HTML. I think Abhishek would have shared that as well. You can say refresher or repeater. You're strong in math, strong in verbal, and you can submit. You'll get a schedule. Download that schedule. You can see what. So it gives you a rather detailed, nice, fun outline about what you can, how you can learn. So super useful. So go through that and download your schedule and have a. And Abhishek had indeed mentioned that. So I kind of forgot it. So many thanks for to CS141. Say, hey, just share the schedule. Many thanks, guys. Have fun. We'll catch up with you guys soon enough. Definitely within the next 5-6 weeks, we'll catch you. Sambhav Tiwari, you can message us. You can ping Jatin if you know his number or any one of us.
Go ahead, Sambhav. Go ahead. Please DM. please DM. Okay, we'll talk. We'll talk.
Thank you, guys. Adios.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.